Welcome back. So this is week 3 of our conscious eating cleanse, and I have my guest and friend Margaret Ohlson, and today we're going to talk about the actual week of the cleanse, what your options are, a little bit more information so that you guys can choose what works best for you.
It's time.
Last week Margaret talked about her journey into wellness, and so I wanted to give you a brief summary of my journey into wellness. It goes from being unhealthy to being healthy. So when I was a young person, I was very conscientious about weight, and being an athlete and being a very kind of high achieving person, I was very restrictive in my eating. And in high school, I'd restricted food to such a serious point that I was eating lettuce, pickles, diet soda, and basically anything with the fewest calories possible. And that went on for quite a while, and then I started throwing up food, and then I realized I was tired of being hungry, so I would eat. And then the guilt of eating food was, it was just too much. And so for about 20 years, I lived as a bulimic. People that are addicted to food have a really hard time because it's not like alcoholics where you just stop and you don't touch alcohol. You have to eat every day, and you have to eat numerous times a day. And people are like, you will always struggle with food. That is not true. It's just simply not true. When you educate yourself enough and you educate yourself, you get the information necessary and it's out there, you can heal completely. Like I can eat a piece of cake and ice cream.
And you're fine.
Yeah, and I'm fine. And I don't even think
mentally
it's bad.
and emotionally and physically.
Yeah, I'm like, this is delicious.
You can truly enjoy it.
Yeah, which is really nice.
Yeah,
so I want healing for everybody, wherever they are in their journey.
Me too. I want you to know it's possible, that there's always hope.
When and if you decide to do this cleanse with us, and even if you're not doing it the 3rd week in October, if you're watching this video some years from now, the primary thing that you need to ask yourself is why. Because the why will tailor the how. Whatever your reasons are will help you tailor your protocol for your cleanse. Now I have printed out, and I will put this list below the video. If you just click show more, you'll see it. It's all of the popular foods, and Margaret's got a list as well. The popular foods for juicing and for green smoothies, and basically what each one of them does. Bananas, for instance, are a good source of B vitamins. So they help remedy sleeplessness, mood swings, irritability. They also contain vitamin C. They're high in magnesium, potassium, which makes them a great electrolyte replacement after heavy exercise or activity. They have a ton of natural sugars, so they can give you an energy boost. And they're just a really delicious kind of creamy element to add into your smoothies as well.
Bananas add a really nice texture, like if you're making green smoothies. That's something we add to our green smoothies almost all the time. Sometimes more than others in quantity, depending on what else is going in. But boy, it's helpful, isn't it, to know some of these properties and why maybe we feel so good when we have a banana. When we enjoy the sweetness, but also all the nutritive benefits of it.
Earlier, Margaret was talking about the tops of vegetables being so highly nutritious, oftentimes more nutritious than the part we consider eating.
Like beet tops, we were talking about that last time. It says here that the greens of beets have more iron than Popeye's favorite vegetable, more iron than spinach. Beet greens. So when you harvest those beets out of your garden, don't just cut off the beet tops and let them lay on the ground. You need to bring those in too and put them in your soups, put them in your juice, put them in your salads. In fact, our salad this evening has beet greens in it.
These guys?
Here, yes. All these pretty red stems and green leaves.
Delicious.
contain potassium, cucumbers are a natural diuretic. And they're not a high sugar vegetable. So they would be a good choice for you if you wanted to avoid sugars in your juice, even to use cucumber as the base, and then maybe add some celery and maybe some beet greens, and maybe some chard, and maybe some lemon and ginger to make a nice, very tasty juice.
And if you juice them with the skins on, you get an extra boost of chlorophyll.
Chlorophyll.
And chlorophyll it's basically plant blood, if you think of it in that way. It's the life support system of green plants, and it's so cleansing for our body. It purifies our body. It makes our breath smell better, our skin brighter. Chlorophylls are pretty amazing food. So the darker greens, when people say greens are so good for you, a lot of that benefit is from the chlorophyll.
That's absolutely true. You know, I like to tell people that chlorophyll, when you take in chlorophyll, maybe a wheatgrass shot, maybe a green smoothie, your cells are singing the hallelujah chorus because they're nourished. That's one of the significant nutrients to take in to nourish your cells, to help to overcome those cravings like we were talking about last time, because your body is satisfied, you're satiated. Dandelion greens, dandelion root, excellent for liver cleansing and detoxing, very high in vitamin K, very good for the kidneys. It says it's also a diuretic. Most of my experience has been in liver detoxification with the use of dandelions. Dandelion greens and or root dried, maybe in a tea, maybe in a tincture, maybe even in a capsule. Usually dandelion accompanies milk thistle seed in a liver detox program. And we all have dandelion greens in our yard probably. So we shouldn't be mowing them. We should be harvesting them and juicing them or green smoothieing them.
For the actual cleanse, I was originally going to have a list of recipes and ingredients so you could just like go to the store, buy the stuff and do it. But I don't want you to do what I'm doing. I want you to do something that honors your own body and your own life and your own lifestyle and supports what it is, whatever your wishes are. So I'll put this list of the foods below, and I'll also put a couple websites for resources that will give you way more information. So if people are interested in doing a 1, 3, or 5-day cleanse, how do they know what works best for them when it comes to juicing, green smoothies, or eating raw?
Well, it is a very personal decision and choice. It just depends on what your day's like. My day is very busy. I sometimes don't have a really like an hour to sit down and have a meal. So I'm going to do juices and green smoothies during the day. And perhaps if I need to choose something, I'll have a nice salad in the evening. So that's what I've decided to do because I know I can continue on that way. I'll have the energy and I'll have the brain power to continue on. My days are long, like many of yours are. Part of it depends on what equipment you have. Maybe you don't have a blender or a juicer. Just go raw. Go raw for a day. Go raw for 2 or 3 days. Anything you do, as we shared last time, to improve the nutrient content of what you're taking in and to simplify what you're taking in for a given period of time, which includes, by the way, drinking plenty of water, is going to benefit you. And it's a great place to start. So
if I wanted to go on a cleanse that was the most beneficial, if I didn't have a job to go to, if I could just completely detoxify my body, what would be the best route?
The deepest cleansing you could do would be to juice. And juice for the 3 days. And then if you have juice for those 3 days, then on day 4, you should have all raw food. You know, fresh salads, a good crunchy apple will be very appealing. And then day 5, you can add in some of the cooked food, but even then, you want to go easy. It would be like millet, rice, quinoa, a baked potato without a whole bunch of sour cream on it for that day 5. And coming off that cleanse gradually is important. So that would be the deepest you could do. When you juice something, you're taking the fiber out. And when the fiber's out, it's more concentrated. Remember, I think we shared last time, it's about a pound of carrots to make 8 ounces of juice. So you're getting very, very concentrated nutrients there. I also want to emphasize again how important it is to drink water. There is nothing that you can swallow that can replace water, whether it's a fresh carrot juice or a nice cup of herb tea. Everything except for water requires digestion.
And I think that's what I'm going to do, because I've never done a juice fast. I've done 3 days just water, and I was grumpy. And then on day 3, I felt really great. But the day 1 and day 2, like, you didn't want to be in my orbit. And so I think for me, because when I'm working, I'm not exerting a lot of physical activity. So those 3 days, I think I'll go easy on workouts, maybe just do some yoga and some stretching. I'll drink as much juice as I need so that I don't go hungry, because it's surprising, even though there's not fiber, your body gets calories through the juice and you still feel very energized. So don't feel like you have to do like 3 juices a day. You can make a big thing of juice and just drink it whenever you get a little hungry and need a little energy boost.
Oftentimes, when we think we're hungry, we're actually thirsty. So don't have juice every time you feel hungry.
That's good advice.
Put the water in there. Put the water in there. Good water. Good water.
I will also be posting recipes over on Facebook, and I'll put the link down here. And I'll be posting recipes like how to cook quinoa, how to cook millet, really simple ideas that will hopefully help introduce new foods into your diet, but give you a sense of what it looks like. Like I might do a baked sweet potato with a bunch of cilantro and then a tomato-based sauce to go on top, and then some radishes and some avocado and maybe some pepitas.
That sounds wonderful. I'm coming over.
Yeah. And so if you think about it, salads are wonderful and they're so refreshing, but when you're on the 3rd meal, the 3rd day of eating raw and you're over salads, like you're on the 4th day, there's some really beautiful ways where you can introduce a tiny bit of cooked food with mostly raw food and feel very satisfied.
And Corinne, millet is the king of grains.
We don't hear very much about millet.
I know, and you need to try millet on your 5th day somehow. So we'll have some information for you, and then you just do your research and decide how you're going to prepare it. But it's an alkalinizing grain, and there aren't very many grains that are. There aren't very many cooked foods, really, that are alkalinizing. So I want to put millet on our radar.
I would love that. And you have a millet loaf you told me about once a long time ago I would love to make. So I'll be sharing a millet recipe with you for sure.
We gathered a bunch of recipes today that we're trying to get lined up for you to increase even the volume that Corinne has been sending out. So you'll have lots of options.
The recipes that I'm posting on Facebook, I'll post them throughout the day, but they do get buried in the news feed. So any of the recipes that are very specific to the cleanse, I will pull out and I will make a note. So if you see under the banner ad on Facebook, there's some tabs and it says notes. If you click on there, I'll have all of these resource lists for you. The book lists, the studies, and then I'll have recipes there as well. So you don't have to go digging through Facebook. You can actually go and see everything that's cleanse-based right there in one place.
At Mother's Marketplace, we have a website, mothersmarketplace.net, and we have a recipe section. And a friend and computer techie gentleman has just set up a category for this cleanse on our website. So eventually, all of this data information, so much of it that Corinne has gathered with me, putting in a little here and there, will be there as well.
Good. And Margaret's recipes are so good. Well, if you think about it, she feeds the whole town and people come to buy food from her, so they have to be really good.
Well, we've had a lot of input over the years. You know, a lot of people have had the chef's hat on in our kitchen.
So Margaret differentiated between smoothies, juice, and raw. So that's for you to decide what works best with your lifestyle. And if any of you are on the fence and you haven't done a cleanse before, for no other reason is to just be curious and see how your body reacts when you strip out all of the things that may potentially have a reaction for you.
I promise you that if you decided to just do a 1 day with a follow-up day of eating more simply before you went back to your regular dietary fare, if you chose to, if you just went 1 day and did green smoothies, you'll feel so good. You'll be so surprised. You won't be hungry, and you'll have good brain power. You'll feel good. Give it a try. You won't be disappointed.
If we haven't answered your question, I hope that answers your questions. And for those of you that have questions, please leave them below the video. Thank you for being with us. And now, next week is week 4, and we are going to talk about what now? What do you do after a cleanse?
Where do we go from here?
So I hope you stay tuned and join us for that. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next week.